Welcome to another Monday live stream. This Monday, today, I want to sculpt this bear that I found, this awesome Disney-esque looking concept by Manuel Villarreal. I don't know how to say his name properly. Sorry, Manuel. But yeah, really, really nice design. So I figured I would sculpt a bear to go along with my bare hand, my bare arm. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Can you hear me okay? I'm doing this thing where I'm doing a little test where I'm recording all of the incoming sources. So it's so I can make a YouTube video of this for my own channel after without all the fluff. So yeah, I'm excited to try that out. All right. Oh, looks like chat is off. Let me turn chat on. There you go. All right. Sounds good. Great. Okay. So yeah, let's just start by blocking this guy out. He's got a super duper interesting face. He's got these really like fat cheeks, these little ears sticking out behind. So I'll start with the cranium like I usually do. Just kind of make it short. See this cranium right here? It's kind of short but long in the back. Okay. And then this will be his I want to say jaw, jowls, cheek area. Something like this. Okay. And then let's do his so I'm going to make his nose area and his bottom jaw separate pieces, and then we'll make this S-shaped thing its own piece. So we'll see how that goes. Hey Charlie, how are you doing? I wonder if Facebook just got trashed on here because I don't see it. It usually says 3 out of 3, so it's like YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, but it says 2 out of 2. So if you're on Facebook and you're seeing this, please say hello, but often it does not. Let me see if it's posted over on ZBrush's site. I don't know. Okay, well, whatevs. Hey, what's up, Brad? Hey, mini chicks, how's it going? Okay, so let's do, let's block in this nose. Hey, Matt, how you doing? It's been a while. So, funny thing is, the other day my form, I have a Form 2 and a Form 3 printer, and my Form 2 decided to just leak. Like I had some resin in it. It's my fault because I left the resin in there for too long, but it leaked out of the bottom like it was oil in a car. I was like, my son saw it first. He's like, what's that? So I've been working on getting that cleaned up. Hey, Debashis. I don't know how to say your name, but hello and welcome to the stream. Okay, I think I'm going to make this this other piece separate as well. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Hey, David? Been lurking, watching, catching up. Looking forward to the new blockout. Yeah. Should be good. That is student choice, by the way, which is great. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to block in an extra piece or not. I think I will. Did I really just get here at the start of the stream? Yep, I just started like, what has it been, 8 minutes? 6 minutes ago. You made it. You know, it's funny, I have these other shapes. Like this would probably work with a cylinder quite well, but I don't know. I just like the spheres. I just go to spheres every time. Okay, I can tell that this is too long now. It'll be a good day. I like saying every day is a good day when you sculpt. I got that from Bob Ross, saying every day is a good day when you paint. Okay. Struggling with finding the stream until finally it popped up on ZBrush Live homepage. Nice. Hey Jojoba, how's it going? Welcome. Okay, I'm just working on getting these shapes in place. Whoa. Thought I had the move brush selected. Gotta love that. Okay, I also have this, hey Ann Hong, how are you? I have the 3D Connection space mouse is what I like to call it, off to the side. And I like to use that sometimes. I need to dial it in so it's not so fast. But I like to play with it. And I need to get all the buttons set up. Turn this smoothing down. Happy Monday to you as well. Hope you all are doing good today. It's a pretty nice day here in Utah. That's where I'm at. Okay. Doesn't have a lower jaw, which is kind of weird for a minute. What's funny is I've been wanting to go to take my meshes to Sculptris Pro sooner and sooner, just so I can start to move things around and get things where I want them to be. And kind of, I don't want to say block in detail, but for example, like I want to get these nostrils in there. And I don't really want to yet, but I feel like if I add some Sculptris Pro, I could just kick it in there. And then same with the eyebrow lines. I don't quite have enough geometry there to play with those brow lines. So I want to kick it up to Sculptris Pro. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. let's do it. So what I want to do is apply this dynamic subdivision and then hit delete lower over here. Okay, and it's like it's starting to get to where I actually could probably use what it gave me right there, rather than hitting Decimate, which I'm just going to use. Let's do that. Yeah, it can be dangerous, right? I don't want to add details per se. I just want to add guidelines, like these brow lines, right? I want to cut those in. So let's see. And I have these materials from ZBrush. I think I have them loaded. Yes. So I have ZBrush Modeling and ZBrush Gray. I really like these because it shows me the surface more than the default Skin Shade 4. I really like Skin Shade 4 for the color. Whoa. You like the hand? Thanks. It's funny because it's a bear hand, and I'm modeling a bear today. So it's kind of meta. There we go. See, so much better. Now I can frame it and look at it and kind of get an idea, a better idea. And then I can get an idea on these nostrils. Okay, just mask off something like that. Well, before I do that, I want to add an edge to the top of it so I can kind of have an idea of where that is. You isolate it. There we go. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, you can grab ZBrush's materials from that link that Neil just posted. ZBrush's got some really great materials, especially some eye reflection materials. I like those quite a bit, because they give you some good reflection. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to invert this mask. And then I'm going to use the snake hook brush. And the reason why I'm going to use the snake hook brush is because snake hook brush works with Sculptris Pro. And it will actually give me some geometry as I pull it in. Turn this down just to kind of test it. There we go. So you can see it's creating some geometry on the edges here. It's not the best geometry, but it's geometry. And it looks like my green shape is poking through. I would never thought to do the cheek block out like that. I wasn't entirely sure what it was until you started adding more to the block out, and I'm mind blown. Yeah. Okay, let's clear this out. And then let's move this green back so it's not peeking through. Hey, Doug. How did you add the edge to the nose before you did the nostrils? What brush? Oh, just this pinch brush right here. It's my pinch brush. And if you want these, I think you already have these, Doug, but if you want these brushes, I give them away for free over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. You can go grab them. It looks like it made a little weird hole right here. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to do a mirror and weld. Fix that right up. Okay. Okay, let's see. Sometimes, you know, it's weird. Sometimes when you're using Sculptris, it will just make these rogue polygroups. See this little green triangle here? It has no business being there. But on this side, it doesn't exist. So I'm going to mirror and weld fixes everything. And that gets rid of it. Okay. Hey, Christopher, sorry. Hey, Shane, goes it? So you're using Spud Arm, or you're using the 4K screen? The calibration to the cursor and the tip of the pen's a bit off on mine. I think it might be my Cintiq Pro. I'm on a 2K monitor, not a 4K. So I'm not exactly sure how the lineup would work on yours. But yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm not on a 4K. This is a 27-inch. It's the one before the 4Ks came out. Okay. And I do have a Black Friday deal coming out, you guys. So if you're on my emailing list, which if you have downloaded my brushes, you should be on my emailing list. And you should be getting a Black Friday deal on my course quite soon. So be looking out for that. Okay. So let's clean up these nostrils a little bit. And I can use that same pinch brush. Or I can use this detail brush. So with the detail brush, it doesn't pinch the geometry, it pushes and pulls it. So I can, let's turn this topological off. See, I can push it. And that just kind of cleans it up, cleans up the edges a little bit. And I still have Sculptris Pro on, so it is creating geometry as I do this. And I can hold down Alt and pull it out to create the outer edge. Kind of clean that up. And it is faceted a little bit. You just kind of have to look past the faceting. Okay. 32 Cintiq. No, honestly, Doug, I would prefer a 24. This is a 27. I like it. It's fine. But it takes up so much of my desk, and it's really heavy. I really like it, but I think a 24 would be like the sweet spot, right? Oh yeah, I turned key viz off. I have a problem with key viz, honestly. Because it will only show up, I can only get it to show up on my main monitor. And I can't get OBS to grab it off my main monitor and show it overlay it. So what that means is if I wanted to get it to work, and this is what I did in the past, is I had to turn my Cintiq to my main monitor, and then it would work. But it wasn't the greatest. I don't want my Cintiq to be my main monitor. So I just want to be able to grab it with OBS and overlay it. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have to scale it up. Hey, Femi, I'm not sure if that's how you say your name. Welcome to the stream. Femi, maybe? Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's... Hello, Howie. I'll turn Sculptris Pro off for a second. Get his eyeballs in here. I can see that I'm going to have to do some adjustments for sure. Okay. Okay, his eyes are very close together. So that's going to be a challenge for me. Let's split these off. Looks like we have 100 people watching. Great. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Let's save this. Signed up for the course a couple weeks ago. It's made a huge difference for me, very helpful. Awesome, Roger. Well, thank you very much for the feedback. I appreciate it. Okay, this is this big cheek fluff thing. It's going to prove to be interesting, and I have this, like, see these skin folds coming out and around? That's going to be interesting, and all this extra skin and fur down here to make it look like it's going to work is going to be interesting as well. Okay, now I have a private Discord channel for my students, and a couple of my students, they were both concepting the same character, and they were struggling with proportions a little bit. So I decided to try it out, try the character out. I already had a block out, like a base mesh of my own that I had made previously. And the character was Wolverine by my friend Sean Galloway. He goes by Cheeks, if you guys know his artwork. Anyway, I decided to block it out. And then I was having so much fun that I decided to finish it. So I was going to show you guys how he turned out. This is him. Turn on perspective so you can see him. This is yeah, this is the Sean Galloway Wolverine. I think I'm going to 3D print him eventually and paint him up, and it'd be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to see the original concept for him that Sean did, that's what it looks like. Yeah, so I started with this, and this is what it ended up being like. So yeah, thank you, appreciate it. A lot of fun. Let's see. So cool, thank you. How do you turn around the model while selecting the model? So I have my front button on my pen. This front button, the bottommost button, I have that set to right click. And if I push that button while I'm hovering, and this works both on a tablet or a screen, you can push right click and spin your model. And it doesn't matter where your pen is, you can rotate it while right clicking anywhere. And then if you add control while right clicking, it will zoom. And then if you add alt, it will pan. How can I make the shape of my part smooth? Like smooth, circular, smooth transition from sharp to circular? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. The only thing I can really say is kind of watch what I'm doing and follow along. I use the smooth brush a lot, and I use big, low resolution shapes that are subdivided eventually. Like I'll take what I have here and I will subdivide it down eventually. And then I'll add subdivision levels, and that makes it very smooth. Is it better to paint your 3D print with airbrush, or do you print? I wish I could 3D print in color. The only 3D prints that print in color, the prints don't come out very nice. They come out looking like sugar cake topper decorations. There are some that you can get. That are from very, very expensive printers, but I don't have access to one of those, and those come out nice. But usually I do a mixture of hand painting and airbrushing. So I'll paint the big bold colors first, and then I'll use an airbrush for gradation, just like I do with these two brushes right here. So if I'm using this one, that means I'm painting it by hand with a brush. And if I'm using this one, this is kind of like an airbrush. So for gradients and things. Okay. like my circular shapes are not as smooth as yours. So just don't touch the surface very much. You'll notice that I'm not adjusting the surface like with move brushes and polish brushes and things like that, because that will introduce what I call warbles to the surface, and you don't want to do that. So you just try and touch it very little and use large brushes. Like if I want to move this head, I'll use a very large brush. If I use a small brush, it's going to add bumps and warbles, right? So use large brushes and keep your resolution as low as you can. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Okay. Also, is there any way to assign shortcuts to Gizmo additional option? Like what axis? I don't use any shortcuts except for one. The only shortcut that I use is number 2 to pull up my menu. I don't, because they're all right here. All of the things are easy access right here. So to reset the gizmo, I just push this right here while holding down Alt. Otherwise, it'll mess with the mesh. So yeah, I hope that helps. But I don't use any hotkeys. I probably should, but okay. I'm gonna pull these brows up higher to kind of bring in that brow behind them. Yeah, I don't think you can add hotkeys to the gizmo. Now that I think about it, now that Neil mentions it. This, I'm just using my fill brush. This is kind of like a clay buildup brush that doesn't have an alpha, so it's really smooth. And then I can make some eyebrows. Okay, let's split this off. All right. Now he's got some brows going. I was just using the topology brush for the brows there. Okay, let's get his cheeky monkeys, his cheek bits in there. Let's work on this side here. Okay, this kind of tucks up underneath the eye. Goes up around it like this. It's a very interesting shape. And then down here, it comes up to make room for that smile. And then goes down to blend into the face. Hey, Jerome. How are you? I'm doing very well, actually. Thanks for asking. I'll have to tell you about it. It's quite remarkable. So without giving away too much info, you guys, I can kind of tell you. I've had health issues in the past, and I was deathly afraid of getting COVID for fear of it amplifying what I had going on. And I avoided getting COVID for a long, long time until a little while ago. I went to a local kind of I wouldn't call it an amusement park place. It's like a LARPing thing. It's like an amusement park for live action role playing. It's called Evermore, if you guys have ever heard of it. Anyway, I went there and I happened to pick up COVID. Because there's a lot of people there, and it didn't affect me very much at all, which is great. It's just like a flu, you know. But what it did do is it kind of woke up my immune system, and my immune system started to like attack not only COVID but the issue that I had going on at the same time. So I was like, okay. And so the symptoms, I guess you would call it, the symptoms that I had are kind of going away, which is crazy to me. So in that kind of code language, Jerome, that's what's going on. Which is amazing. Yeah. Am I going to color it as well? Yeah, I'll add some colors and things to it for sure. Okay, so my geometry is kind of getting stretched now, so I'm going to turn on Sculptris Pro again and just kind of flood fill this whole area. Topo brush is an easy way to create eyelids. Oh, is somebody asking about that I missed? What's the easiest way to make an eyelid? I'm going to make an eyelid here in a second. There are like 3 different ways. Yeah, thanks, Jerome. I really appreciate you asking. And yeah, I'm super excited by it, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, crazy. Thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to get these shapes to play well with each other. Jerome, were you here earlier when I showed the Wolverine that I did? I don't know if you know who Sean Galloway is. He goes by Cheeks online. Does some really great concepts. Anyway, I can show you. Here you go. So check it out. And then here's the concept of him. So I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. I need to I want to 3D print him, paint him up. And I need to key him too. I was thinking about keying him quite a bit so I can paint him. So like I would make his arms separate, his these blue things separate, his gloves separate, and basically in all these different pieces and parts. So the edge work will be really clean. I was even thinking about like cutting up these black extra bits and like snapping them on. So a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. So anyway, glad I was able to show you. All right. let's see. You must be excited about the poly paint and the new remesher. Absolutely. I don't know how that's going to work. Honestly, I don't. So I really want to see it. Hi, why use Sculptris Pro instead of subdivisions? Eventually, I will do subdivisions. I usually will remesh my character and then subdivide it to add the final level of surface detailing. But when I'm modeling like this, I like to have as much geometry as I need and not run out. So I really like using Sculptris Pro because I will never run out of geometry. It just keeps giving and giving in the spirit of Thanksgiving. And it's just nice to not have stretched out geometry. What's the best way to key him? Live booleans. That's the best way. And man, does it do a good job. Live booleans inside of ZBrush is like no other. Still though, and he came out great. What an awesome job. Thank you so much. He has all the 2D form fill. Thanks. I showed him to Sean Galloway and yeah, he loved him too. So he wants a higher res and a turntable of him. So that'll be fun to give those to him. I want to give him a 3D print of it. That would be the ultimate. Sean was a big influence on Disney Infinity, his style. He actually flew out and helped us with the design. What does keying mean? It means to to break apart your model so you can 3D print it, and then the keys help you put it back together. They're like you have a tab A and a slot B essentially, and you put them together. Yugi, hello, welcome to the stream. Hi Vlad, I'm sorry I cannot understand what you're typing there. Thank you, Lewis. I said thank you, Lewis. Thank you very much. Okay, let's make these eyelids for his eyes. He's got lower eyelids. So there are two ways. Well, there are multiple ways you can do it. What is going on with his nostrils? Hold on a second. That's what's going on. Keep getting a square peg into a square hole to hold two things together. Yep, there you go. That's a good way to put it. There we go. Shrink that in so it doesn't affect it. Hey, Samwise. Awesome seeing you in Nico's stream the other day. Yeah, I like his stuff. That guy is fast. I have to say, he's a speedy guy. Sometimes I wonder. I think I could probably. I mean, I don't mean to sound. I don't know. I would like to try to see how fast I could pull something off, because usually when I'm doing something like this, I have to be very slow and meticulous because I want to keep things very, very smooth, very round. I can't push things around as quickly as he does because I know I'll mess up my surfaces. But I would like to try it sometime and just see how fast I could do something like Nico does. Hello, hello. When you key a model, you are breaking it down into slotted pieces that you can print separately and then fit back together. Exactly. If I had something close to me, I would show you. Well, you can kind of see in the back, my cowboy is, he's got pieces laying down at the base of him. Those are keyed parts that I have not plugged in yet because I want to paint him. Okay. So let's get back to this. So there's a couple ways you can do the eyelids. One way is to duplicate the eyes. And then this button is put the gizmo to the center of the object. So if the objects are overlapping in the center, it's not going to put it quite in the center because it only goes from the center to here and then centers it. So basically what I like to do, this is a little cheat that I do, is I'll zoom out. See this circle around the gizmo? I'll zoom out to where that's overlapping. See that? And now I can see that it's not centered. So I can hold down Alt and just slide it and eyeball it to the center like that. Eyeball it. So, okay, so now I know it's generally in the center. And now I can grab this yellow square and just scale it up ever so slightly. And then I'm going to use the knife brush, okay, this knife cut, and then hold down Control plus Shift and go across like this, let go, and it's going to slice it. Let's see, I don't want that to happen particularly, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to slide these eyeballs away from each other for a minute. Okay, now I'm going to cut it. Okay, there we go. And now I can slide them back together. Let's unhide the rest so I can see where his eyes are. Okay. Now it doesn't look like it, but using the knife brush will actually put a new poly group on the sliced edge. So if you look at this, I mean, it looks like it's both purple, but it's actually a separate poly group. So there we go. And I could crease that. I can ZRemesh this if I want to make it cleaner, or I could just hit it with sculptris and just soften it up so it's not so faceted. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to hit it with sculptris like this. And you know, I'm kind of running out of geometry. The scene, the triangle size is tied to the scene size. So if I hold down Shift, the lowest I can go is 0.05 right now, right? So this triangle size is the smallest I can go at my character's current size. So if I want to get smaller triangles, I need to scale everything up. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the floor so we can see how big it is in comparison to the floor. Then I'll unhide the gizmo. Put the gizmo down to the base here, but I'm going to raise it to about here. I'm going to turn on these transpose all selected subtools button. So then I can move everything. And I can also scale everything. So if I scale it bigger like this, now I can get really small triangles. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the floor, zoom back into where we were. And if I were to paint triangles on now, it's going to be very dense. Here, I'll just show you. See, it's quite dense. And that's kind of what I want. Because whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Because now what I can do is I can bring that ledge back. So I'm going to turn this to here so I can see it better. I'm going to grab my pinch brush and just kind of pinch along right here and bring that shelf back. And it's nice and clean. There's the eyelids. Is there another way to rotate my object without the deformation transpose? They're not really turn out how I need them. I don't quite understand the question. I use the gizmo to rotate everything. Rotate, translate, scale. I use the gizmo. So that's the only way I usually rotate my objects. Okay. And there's not really another way to do it other than use the transpose line, which is the old way of moving objects. Okay, let's see, I'm going to grab this. Hey Jerome, if you're still here, we should yap. That's 2. We should catch up. I talked to Leonard the other day. He's a good kid. I'm surprised he's not here. Usually he shows up and says hello. Okay. Just want to get this eye shape a little better. He does have upper eyelids as well. And I'm going to show you the second method in... Yeah, we still got to do the interview too, right? Let's set that up. That'd be awesome. And while I'm thinking about it, because I was thinking about you, when I was watching the Foundry, did you watch the ZBrush Summit, the talks at all? They had one where they talked about bronze and how they make the bronze stuff. It was super fascinating. Okay, so let's go back to this eye. Can you tell me the name of the graphic monitor that you use? Yes, it's a Wacom Cintiq 27-inch. So, do I recommend? I recommend Cintiqs, but only if you have the funds to do so. It's not necessary. You can sculpt with the cheapest tablet you can possibly find, and it will still work well enough for you. A Cintiq, in my opinion, will only make you faster. It won't make you a better artist. Okay. Missed it? No worries. I'll send you a link. Are you using Sculptris Pro instead of Dynamesh to avoid changing the shapes of your subtools? Yes. Yeah. Dynamesh tends to melt your objects together. Dynamesh is super powerful, but ever since I've found Remesh by Union, which is essentially Sculptris Pro, I haven't looked back. I'm actually in the middle of making a YouTube video called Stop Using Dynamesh, Do This Instead. So that's my clickbait title. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have this eyeball selected, and I'm going to use the topology brush to draw an eyelid on the top of this eye. But I don't want to draw on top of the skin and the eye and then the skin again, because you can see what it does to my line. I actually want it to wrap around the eyeball. So what I can do is I can hit this transparent button, and now I can see the eyeball within the head, right? And I can draw my eyelid and have it still wrap around the eyeball even though it's inside the head, which is awesome. And I can draw inside the head on the eyeball right here. Like this. And then just draw my cross lines. And wherever the lines cross when it makes 4 green dots, it will make a quad. So I just draw a bunch like that, and then I hold down Alt and draw on the surface of the object, let go, and it will clean up all of those tail ends. And then if I tap on the surface now, it will create an object, a brand new object with the thickness of the brush size. So if I go like that, you can see it made this into an object with thickness. So now that I have this, I can split, unmask points, arrow down, and now I have this this eyelid, but it's too sharp. See how it's really sharp? So the reason why is because it has creases. It has creases around the bottom, creases around the top, and I just want to get rid of them. So I just go uncrease all, and it gets rid of them like that. Hey, what's up, Angry? People can tell me whatever they like, but you're my favorite artist. Well, thank you so much. You made my day. I appreciate that. Make me smile. Okay. And then I can just go in there and drag those around and turn off the transparency like that. And so that is a different way of making eyelids. So you can do half spheres and cut them off like I showed you, or you can make them like that. Why would you not create a duplicate eye and scale it? I'm just showing a second method. That's why. Somebody wanted to see it, and I showed it. That's all. But honestly, I like this method a little better because it's a little more controlled. Because not all eyelids are shaped like a half sphere. And in fact, I prefer them not to be. So it's much harder to try and shape a half sphere than it is to just draw the shape that you want on the eye. I do not understand English while I speak French. Can someone please write to me the name of the model of the graphics tablet? Neil, would you mind posting that? He did up above Wacom, not that you can understand what I'm saying, but there you go. Maybe say tablet or something. Okay, thank you guys. I'm sure you've covered this before, but how are you doing that 3D hand stylus? That's brilliant. Thank you, Al. I'm using this thing called a spud arm, and this is a rendered hand. This is a bear hand. It's funny because I'm modeling a bear, but this is an arm that I modeled from a different bear, and it's mapped to a green screen that's working behind the scenes. Have you made eyelids using a donut primitive and molded over the eye? No, not really. That's not a bad idea, though. Sorry, I've just started learning ZBrush. What things will help me become good at this? Any tips? Practice blocking out characters. That's my #1 tip when it comes to new artists. Blocking out characters. And I'm still in the blockout phase now, so you can take a character to, I would say, 80% just in the blockout, in my opinion. Awesome. If I could find Utah on my flat Earth globe, I'd stop by. Yeah, it's not on there. We're on the underside, the dark side of the coin. I like what this reminds me of. Oh, what is it? What is that? That dog from the Laugh Olympics that always goes. Awesome to see stylized character work. Appreciate this. Well, thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated. What's the name of that? Mark will know, right? What's his name? Pushing it down too far. Muttley. Ah, Angry knew. Angry wins. Snidely. Yep. He was in a couple, right? With Grape Ape and stuff. Because he was with the oh man. I'm trying to remember. He was in a couple cartoons. Or similar. Okay. Let's do topological. And what this does is it moves the first object I touch and leaves the rest alone. Okay. It's not restreaming Twitch to YouTube. Oh, really? I think Restream's having a hard time today because it's not streaming to Facebook either. Either. Really puff this cheek up. This is a weird angle coming into his side head, his jowls, whatever you want to call it. Side head. So this is a good example of masking on a dense mesh versus a light mesh. They blur at different rates. So what I need to do, come on, is, well, let's see. Goodness. That looks hilarious. I need these in their own poly groups. So I'm going to hit auto groups and then do a mirror and weld. Okay. Let's see. What did you think of Evermore? Did you dress up? Well, my kids loved it. They absolutely loved it because it's like Halloween, right? So and no, I didn't dress up personally, but it's pretty fun. It's kind of like live action D&D. That's what they're trying to get it to be. It's not quite there, but you can see the potential of it. There's actually this girl, I can't remember her YouTube channel, Jenny something or other, and she just barely did a really long review of it, and it's spot on. Like, she took so much time to really talk about what's good about it and what's not so good about it. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna pull this out. You know what's difficult? Talking and sculpting at the same time. Good thing I'm not chewing gum, or I'd be lost. Okay. How often do you make these streaming in ZBrush channel? Every Monday. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if you do a YouTube search for me, you will find all of my past streams. If you were not streaming, would you estimate you'd finish this project in half the time it takes while streaming? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I just finished that Wolverine, and that took me not nearly as much time as this. I did start with a base mesh, but still. It's much quicker. Plus, you can just kind of get lost in it, you know? Shiro, I am familiar with it. I don't comment on it here because this is the official ZBrush stream channel. So I like to keep the conversation on ZBrush and Maxon products. So I hope you can understand that. Okay, I'm just starting to adjust things. This is super tricky through here because I have this like S shape coming down from underneath his eye, kicking back up to make room for this smile. It's just without his nose. I think I have the angle of his nose too steep. Do you have model sequences to model leveling up in each model, like from beginner to pro? Yes and no. Like, if you're asking about my course, I teach it in a linear fashion exactly with that in mind. So I start you out with learning how to block out characters, and then I start to teach you how to do stylized anatomy, and then I teach you how to utilize different types of meshes, and then get into hair and clothing and stuff like that. So, yep. And I like to teach people how to model any character, not just one. So we talk about all different types of ways to do things, not just follow along as I make this one character. Do I cover UV mapping? I do somewhat, not in a lot of detail. My course is a little bit more focused on making the high-res character and not so much with game characters. I do have 2 full walkthroughs of game characters, though, including map baking. I'm really thinking about joining the 3D character workshop, but I'm afraid my skills aren't enough for it. Well, it goes all the way from your very first day in ZBrush to advanced, so you could get started. And if you find that it's too much, I do have a 14-day guarantee. So if it doesn't work for you, you can just get a refund, you know? Zero risk. This guy is proving difficult. I need to get his ears in there. I think his not having ears is... And then I have this too big down here. It's crazy because every single time as I put my characters together, the more stuff I add, the more stuff I see that I need to fix. That's kind of how it rolls. And somebody was asking how I keep my shape so smooth, and a big brush is the key. See, I'm not warping this around. I'm just nudging it. His head is very narrow up here. He's almost lion-like. It's kind of funny. Got to get this up and under his chin. Also, this is something I don't talk about much. When I think about making my brush bigger, I'm looking at the inner circle, not the outer circle. Because the outer circle is the fall off of the brush. The inner circle is how much it affects the whatever I'm touching. So, community is awesome and helps out when you have problems or get stuck. Absolutely, and Brad is right there with you. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, there's a private. Let me turn this off. There's a private Discord community and a forum. Jane's class is great. I had zero knowledge of ZBrush, and now I prefer to use ZBrush for sculpting characters. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get some more behind him with his ears. I think that'll help a lot. And his eyes need to be small. Oh, I got so much stuff. I got to tune. It's all about tuning. Okay. Now, if I need to get the gizmo into the center of an object, if I just hit center right now, this guy right here, it's going to put the gizmo in the middle of half of your object. So what you have to do is you have to turn symmetry off completely, then push that button. See, it puts it in the middle of the unmasked mesh center. And then you turn symmetry back on and you're good to go. Have you ever tried your lovely characters with realistic skin? Is it a good idea? No. I haven't, because my characters are not realistic. They're stylized. And so, and I also 3D print. You can see a lot of my characters behind me. I 3D print them. And having realistic skin would, I think it would detract from the clean sculpt. So I tend to avoid it. It's a good question, though. Okay. Okay, let's see. I might just cut these skin folds in by hand and just block out the entire mass of him back here. Just making sure I have enough geometry. See, he's a big boy. And get his chest in here. Hey Marvin, I'm using this thing called Spud Arm. It's just a green screen overlay for OBS. And you just kind of make an image for it and line it up and then hook it up. Looks pretty good, I think. Okay, let me just block out. Talking about 3D print, Shane, which software do you use to support your models? I'm trying Box, but I have troubles with Wacom tablet and zoom to the model. I usually use Lychee. I have form printers, so when I'm using my form printers, I use the Form Lab software. So, and that's I kind of picture Formlabs like Apple. They're self-contained. They're they're not for home use, you know. But when I'm using other printers, I like to use Lychee, and I like that a lot. And there's some new things coming to Lychee that'll. If you watch Uncle Jesse's channel on YouTube, you'll see he talks about that slicer, and it's really, really good. I like it a lot. But in order for Lychee to really work for you, you have to get the Pro version, I think. Okay, I'm gonna pull this back. Let's see, because I want to chop it, clip it. And it looks like he's sitting in a pond or something. Like, that's funny. Yeah, Neil, would you mind posting a link to Lychee? Hey, Leonard, I was just talking about you. How you doing? Yeah, Jerome was just here. I don't know if he's still here, but I was just saying, kind of fun to get together on a Zoom call and yap it up. Should do a virtual sculpt room or something. That'd be fun. Could you say again why you don't use dynamesh? Yes, so dynamesh tends to melt your models together, whereas Sculptris Pro does not. Well, I should say Remesh by Union does not. So let me just demonstrate really quick, because I think this is important. So if I do, let me append a sphere. Let's see here. Okay. So I have two spheres here. Make sure they don't have, you don't want to have subdivision levels. Okay, so I have two spheres, and say I want to dynamesh these two together, okay? Let me do something to even demonstrate it further. I want to put this little thing here close. Don't ask me what it is, I don't know. It's just a little shape, okay? Okay, so I have these three things and I want to dynamesh them together. Well, I want to stitch them together somehow so I can continue on with my sculpting, okay? So first of all, I kind of have to go over here, go to dynamesh, and I'm just going to hit dynamesh just out of the box. You'll see what it does. Okay, see how it kind of melts my object together? Oh, here, let me show you one thing too. If I have some detail, like any surface detail, I'm going to subdivide this once and delete it. Okay. If I have some surface detail like this, or say I have something pinched over here, you do the opposite like this. See how it's pinched like that? Okay, now if I dynamesh, it kind of gets rid of it, and it does all these things. So it melts the entire object just a little bit. It causes this in between your objects, and this doesn't really show very well, but it gets rid of your surface details a little bit, like it melts them, and then it will connect pieces like this. Okay? So you have to go higher with your dynamesh, and it will rebuild your entire sculpt. Okay? So notice how this is just barely not touching right here. Okay. Now if I use Remesh by Union, and you'll find that underneath the gizmo, okay? You just go underneath this gear and hit Remesh by Union. So what that will do is that will stitch everything together, but as you'll notice, it does not rebuild your geometry. So all of your details stay. See how it's not redoing anything. And here I'm going to hit accept. This is stitched together. So look how clean this edge is between these two spheres. Super clean. Look at this. There's no melting between objects. There's no, yeah, and you don't lose your details. So that's why. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. And also, with Sculptris Pro, okay, which is essentially, it works in conjunction with Remesh by union, okay? So what you say? I remember when I sculpted my first character and dynamesh messed up my hands. Yep. I should try out the Remesh by union. My instructor was adamant about using dynamesh. Well, yeah. I'm not going to say too much about that. Other than once I found Remesh by union, I never looked back. Okay. And you know what else it works extraordinarily well for is creating characters for 3D printing. Because what you can do is you can merge visible. So merge visible is underneath merge. Right there, merge visible. And what that'll do is that'll take all your visible subtools and combine them into one new subtool. And then you can run Remesh by union on that. And it's not going to get rid of any of your sweet, sweet, crispy details. It's just going to stitch everything together, get rid of your interior geometry, and then you can do close holes and weld points and send it off to your printer. I'm not using a mouse. Absolutely not using a mouse. You can use a mouse, but don't use a mouse to sculpt. Because a mouse, it has one button, and that one button is either 100% pressure or none. So if you're trying to get a nice pressure line as you're sculpting, you're not going to get it with a mouse. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back on. That's too dense. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. See, I can fill this if I want to. They need to make Tess and Des a res slider so you can control drag like You can, Stolo. So it's called Decimate. So your wish comes true. And I actually have it on my custom UI. It's right here. And what it does is it will cache your original mesh, so you can flood fill with this type of topology if you want to, and it's right underneath. It's just under Decimate, right here. That's where you can find it, right there. This slider. This is the slider that you want. Sorry for talking so much, but that reminded me when I first started ZBrush, the tablet pressure sensitivity wasn't working on the school computer. I toyed around so much with focal shift and intensity. Oh my goodness, that sounds horrible. Those fluffy ears will help. Yep. Yeah, I got to get some ears in there. How do you decide which body parts to join together or keep separate? Typically what I'll do is I will only join objects that have the same materials. So like all the fur bits, and even then I don't always necessarily join them together. So I tend to keep things separate for as long as possible because of how clean it keeps everything. Let's see, I don't know why. Just wanted to push these eyebrows in a little bit more. They're sticking out. Okay. Let's get some ears on this guy. I feel like his head is too long in the back there. Ah, save. Hey, Jeremy. Welcome, welcome. It's me. I'm still here. I haven't left. Okay, let's do... these ears. Looks like Mickey Mouse. Speaking of Mickey Mouse, looks like Bob Iger's back on. That's pretty crazy. Not really surprising, but kind of surprising. Is it necessary to learn all the brushes? No, not at all. Like, for example, like this list of brushes, no, I only know like maybe 1/16 of them. I mostly use the move brush. Asked this once before and forgot what's the name of that software with the hand holding the pen. It's Spud Arm. See, I'm just using the move brush to create this dent in his ear. Most everything can be done with the move brush. It's like using your fingers with real clay. You just push it around until it does what you want it to do. It's like sculpting. There are a lot of bell and whistle brushes. Was it Leonard? That's interesting. Yeah, he was involved with Infinity a little bit, and I don't know. I liked him. He kind of knew what the company needed, I guess. Uh-oh. Dang it. I am a robot. Yeah, sometimes it does that. Just give it a minute, it'll go away. Rogue leader standing by. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. And actually decimate this. Hey, Quana, how are you? Is my voice still horrible? I'm going to decimate this to see if I can get it reduced here. It's pretty bad still. Okay. Your voice is decimated. There we go, decimated. All your bases are belong to us. There, it's decimated. Hopefully that relaxes my CPU a little bit. It's still horrible. Yeah, that should ease up my CPU so it's not so bad, but hopefully. Let me know. Okay. Oh gosh, everybody's like, your voice is back, your voice is back. That's funny. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you what I just did. All right. So basically, there's this plugin called Decimation Master. And it will, yeah, it's underneath the plugins, which you can find plugins up here. There, I almost blew my cover. I was twitching out. But basically, you can decimate your model. So I think what was happening was my surfaces were getting too complex. And between streaming and sculpting, everything was slowing down and it couldn't do everything at once. So basically, what you can do is reduce the complexity of your model while retaining the edges and things like that. So basically what I did is I just hit this 75K button. And what that does is that takes everything and reduces it down to 75,000 triangles while still keeping everything around. So I don't know what it was before, and I don't want to go back because it'll make my voice robotic again. Anyway, and when you decimate, it does get rid of all your poly groups, and it gets rid of your poly paint unless you have the check mark checked. But I'm not doing any poly paint just yet. So that reduced things and it sped everything up. And I hit auto groups to bring back my poly groups, and then I hit mirror and weld to get the symmetry back. So we're back in action. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's see. I think his nose is still too long. Snout. There we go. Maybe something like that. It's better. And I want to shrink his eyes. So what I'm going to do is use these the transpose all selected subtools, but we can clear that out, select the eyes, the lids, and we're good. And then I just want to shrink these down a little bit and then move them closer together. That nose kind of looks piggish. Piggish? That's better. But I want to open his eyes up a little bit more. That, you know, I'm still getting zoom in and out issues, so tell me if my voice does that again. Not that I can do anything about it. How do you retopo your characters? Usually I take them to a different program to do my retopology. Or it depends on what I need to retopo for. If I'm just going to be 3D printing, I'll just use the Remesher inside of ZBrush. But if I'm going to be using it for a game, then I will take it somewhere else. Yeah, meat suit. Oh gosh. Only glitched for a few words. It's, you know, part of it has to do with how close I get. Okay, I want to blend this upper nose and this nose together. There's some nightmare fuel for you. Okay, let's split hidden. And then I'm going to stitch these two together. Okay. Just gonna smooth this out a little bit. That's better. Oh, I'm not mirrored. Let's do that again with mirroring on. Symmetry on, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Goodness. How's my voice? Let's remerge those back together. Actually, I'm gonna... Oh, it looks so funny. Just the eyes. That's too funny. Okay, I'm probably too close. It might make my voice messed up again. All right. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know what makes it do that. I think it's a CPU thing. Just can't handle it, but... Okay. So now I'm going to merge that muzzle back into the... I mean, I could leave it as a separate subtool and it's just fine. In fact, I could because it's white, or which means I can separate out this lower one as well. But let's throw some color on this thing. Why not? Let's see. It's quite the fun color, huh? It's almost skin colored. I don't know whose skin, but okay. Grab this, whoops, grab this white. So in order to grab a color from your spotlight reference, you have to have your ring showing. So you have to hit Z or Z to get this ring to show up, and then you can hit C as in cat to eyedrop a color off of here. You don't have to tap to click it. You just have to hover and then let go, and you'll grab the color. Okay, let's fill this with that white color. We can probably fill in his eyes with the same. Let's grab this bottom, mask it off, and fill it. Okay, and now we have kind of this orange. I don't know why this isn't. I'm gonna have to pick your brain about the bear later. Oh, the bear arm. Yeah, you got to get this on your stream. Hey, Quanta, what's your Twitch? Well, I guess you guys, if you want. Quanta is you've been a long time student of mine, right? Like, you've been around since the beginning. Anyway, she does a lot of amazing characters on Twitch. Uh-oh, don't crash. Don't crash, don't crash. Please don't crash. You got this, ZBrush. You got this. Oh man, look at that. I knew something was going down. Oh, okay. I don't know what I did, but we're going to try and back out of it. Come on. Back out. You can do it. Can you still hear me even though it's struggling? Okay. There we go. We're back. All right. I don't know what that was. Okay. I don't know what happened. Any Black Friday sale? I'm glad you asked, Crash, because yes, it's coming. As long as you're on my email list. So if you're on my email, and how you get on my email list is by downloading my brushes. So if you haven't downloaded my brushes, head on over to 3dcharacterworkshop.com right here. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing, man? And if you're on my emailing list, you'll get my Black Friday promotions that are coming very, very soon. It's going to be awesome. So, hey, Tom, how are you? It's been a long time, sir. All right. We're going to save off a version of this. Okay. Let's not crash this thing. Oh, it's going to do it again, isn't it? Hey, there's my bear arm. Oh, boy. Now you can see what's happening. Okay, let's try this again. I knew it was going to crash. Hey, Valley. A sculpt ever. Thank you. I'm working on it still. But all right, come on, ZBrush. You can do it. It's a good time to have a sip of coffee, I guess. You know, I don't usually crash ZBrush very often. Knock on wood. So that was a first, especially during my streams. Yeah, ZBrush is like, all right, I'm out. I'm out. Here, let's get my, this is how I always start my ZBrushes. I start with my project file. I don't want to go grab that save file because if it still has the issue in it, then I don't want to bring it back, you know? Okay. Do I have a Twitch channel? I do, but I don't really stream on it. I tend to stream more on my YouTube channel, if anything. Okay, come on. Come on, baby. Nope, it's going to crash again, isn't it? Son of a biscuit. All I'm trying to do is isolate something on that bear and it crashes. Just suggesting you can exit Chrome in the background since it's a RAM heavy program. Ah, you're right. Thanks, Ann. Okay, I'll try it. But I have lots of RAM. It shouldn't be doing this. I think it's just a problem with the file. So I can show you guys how to fix it. Fixing issues. Whoops. Let's try it again. This time for sure. How are you guys anyway? Okay, let's try this again. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, this one is selected. Go back to my original file and then append the head. Oh, come on. Like that. There we go. Now this one looks like a pig. This one shouldn't have the problem, because whenever you append it from one thing to another. Oh, thanks, Quan. I appreciate it. I was going to say you can post your a link to your Twitch streams, but your Twitch streams are your name, correct? On Twitch? So there you go. Okay, now I'm going to delete this one that was giving me grief. Now it's gone, and now I can append the other one, this one, back in. It's kind of a switchy-loo, but it works. It tends to scrape the problems. Okay, now I'm going to save this as 4. There we go. All right. Fingers crossed it's not going to break. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. Okay, it didn't work. All right, hold on. It didn't crash ZBrush though. It didn't crash it. So there's one more thing you can do. My bare arm's not following. I think I crashed it. Oh, I think I closed it. That's why. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. This is what we're going to, this is one more thing. Well, you can export the problem as an OBJ and re-import it. That's another thing you can do. Or you can click on this Make 3D button. That will also strip off the problems. So, all right, here we go. We're going to try it. It's good that a lot of people run into these problems and they don't know how to solve them. So sometimes it's good that I run into problems, then I can show you how to fix them. Okay, so this is the problem thing. This subtool right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I can also rebuild it. Like I can do a mirror and weld. Sometimes that will fix it. See, yeah, this function cannot be executed while part of the mesh is currently hidden. All right, it looks like a part of this mesh is hidden. Okay, that's weird. It's the muzzle. The muzzle, it still had the muzzle as part of it. Which is weird to me, but that's okay. Okay, so if you look up here, where is it? See, there's this button that's called Make Polymesh 3D, okay? And basically what it does is it just takes the mesh that you had and rebuilds it and adds it to a new tool. See that? It does get rid of the color for some reason, but it rebuilds it. So it basically cleans off all the bad stuff. Okay, so now if I go back to here, click on this guy, I'm going to say insert, grab this new one. So now we have 2. Okay, and I'll get rid of the bad one, hopefully. Okay, delete. This is the good one. Do another save as. I'm going to have so many different versions of this. I'm going to be lost. I'm like, what did I do with that one? Okay, so here we go. Let's try hiding this piece. Yay, yay, yay. That did it. There you go. Can you apply dynamesh to simplify the mesh and clean the problem? Yes and no. Dynamesh is also prone to crashing, so I avoid that as well. But Make Polymesh 3D is a really good way to fix any meshes that are having issues like that. Okay, and what you could do is, well, I'm just going to refill this with poly paint, and then he'll be back to where he was. But I gotta go grab my reference. Okay. Let's crank up the opacity and park him in the corner. There we go. All right. So now let's do that again. Let's fill him up with colors. I don't know what the issue was, but I saw some rogue poly paint, or some rogue poly groups in there that I need to take care of. So I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know. We'll see. But see these weird groups up in here? Oh, my voice might go robotic again. But it has all of these weird groups. You can see them. There's some weird groups up in here. Okay, I'm going to try something. Let's try auto groups. That fixed it. And then we'll do a mirror and weld. That fixed it. Okay. We're all about fixing our meshes today. All right. Yeah, get those weird groups. Nobody wants you. Nobody likes you, weird groups. Okay, let's grab this. Fill this. And then we'll grab, oh, weird. This was before I merged these two together. That's right, because I have this one. So I'm gonna go like this and hide these two. Delete hidden, get out of there. There we go. All right, so weird. Are you being weird, meshes? Okay. I'm going to isolate this nose. Split hidden. And now we can fill that with this dark brown color. All right, you can see his eyelids. Okay, let's get up in this concept and select this darker orange color. And then fill. And then this the eyebrows are like a black almost. Okay. There we go. And then I can take this brownish color and paint some of this underneath his eyes. It's really low res, so it's going to look pretty chunky. Chunky monkey. Anyway, Mike, how are you doing, man? Haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for stopping by the stream. This is going to be my new mascot? No, I was actually thinking about it, but not quite. I'm going to fade this in, I think. Fade this to this color. Okay, and then we'll do some airbrushing. Blend that in. All right, and if you guys don't know what he's talking about, sorry, I assumed you're a he. I have my bear logo right here. Hello. Anyway, this is supposed to be me as a bear. Different kind of bear. I actually like the design of this bear quite a bit. Just one of those, it just reminds me of kind of that like a Disney Brother Bear style bear. But I have my bear logo on just about everything, so. Are you going to paint the pupil? Probably Geo. You know, I have somebody lined up to do that, Quanta. So I've been working on making my bear animatable, and if I get it there, then I was gonna try it. Yeah, it sounds totally silly and dumb, but you know, I like puppeteering. I like that whole thing, that idea, and so I want to try it, even though it's kind of cringe, you know, kind of cringy. Hopefully my voice doesn't go robotic since I'm so zoomed in. It's pretty cross-eyed, this bear. Yeah, I'll eventually, one of these days, I will definitely try it. Definitely try the VTubing. Just sounds fun to me. Even though it's like, I don't know, part of me is like, is it like furry-ish to do that? Because if it is, I don't want, you know what I mean? You know, from experience, cool. It's, yeah, I like the, yeah, yep, I remember. So they took the big, I can't talk. Leonard, I don't know if you know anything about the Bear Jamboree history, but that used to be a big thing when I was a kid. I used to love to hit Disneyland to go see that, you know, and now it's not around anymore. But I was happy to see that it's still in Disney World. I was able to see it there. But yeah, it's very... This bear looks like he's looking at a bee on his nose or something. Because he's so cross-eyed. How did you decide to use actual object for pupil? So typically I build my models for 3D printing. So it's much easier to print an object that has thickness on the surface than it is to just guess where that pupil goes later on. If that makes sense. So I tend to give myself a raised area to hit with a paintbrush later on. And it also gives a very clean edge. I was a special effects designer for the Christmas show in Tokyo. Nice. So Leonard is a Imagineer. I don't know if you want me to call you out on that or not, Leonard, but I'm going to. Retire. Do you want me to say retired Imagineer? Once an Imagineer, always an Imagineer in my book. Yeah, a little Aaron Blaze. Yeah, for sure. Looks Aaron Blaze-ish. So Wilberth, I did do one of his, well, I've done two of his pieces, but I sculpted his hippo design. It didn't really turn out that great. Like kind of embarrassed to show it to him, that kind of thing. But I made another one of his. I actually streamed it. I'm trying to remember what it was, like a firefly or something like that. It's like a bug that he did. It was really cool. Okay. At least this isn't crashing, knock on wood, any longer. Pull this back out some more. totally looks like he's just sitting in the river. Hello from India. I'll look into the old stream to find it then. Yeah. It's like a... Well, let me see if I have the reference pulled up. Yep, waiting for the fishes. Let me just quickly look. See if it's in my reference folder. Yeah, it's a shrimp. So it was this shrimp right here. Yeah, that one turned out pretty good. I liked it. So go search for this one. Okay. Now I want to kind of grab this color here. Go in and I want to put the black outline around his lips, and yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I want to do, but I'll just take the airbrush and just kind of fake some ambient occlusion in here just to give him a little more shape and color. It's cool, that way I can look at the thumbnail. Yep, for sure. Yeah, and Aaron's great. If you and he's one of the best wildlife painters, if not the best wildlife painter I've ever seen. So good. The way he paints light is just extraordinary. And he directed Brother Bear, so you know, he knows his stuff. My bear paw froze. Where are you, bear paw? Come back here. Man, I've been having technical issues today. Thank you. You should make him sitting in a hot tub. That would be awesome. I think I will. Thanks for the idea. Oh, man. All right, I need to connect his brows. Okay. I can just kind of see him just having a good time going... making bubbles, making his own bubbles in the hot tub. All right. Save this. This has some weird groups too. Get those weird groups out of here. All right. Shane, when you were with Disney, did you ever work out of the Florida studio? I did not. I did work on the Brother Bear video game, but so we did meet and talk to the team in Florida, but I never worked in Florida. See, I worked for Disney Interactive, not Disney Feature Films, so and basically Disney purchased an existing game studio, and I happened to work at that game studio, so that's how that worked out. Make him in the water lid, hide your stuff in the... Yeah. All right. Let's save this. And I want to show you, I'll show you guys one more time. So a couple students of mine were blocking out a character that my friend Sean Galloway designed. They were kind of struggling with the proportions a little bit, so I decided to take an existing base mesh that I already had and pushed it into Wolverine just to kind of show them the proportions and things. And I was having so much fun that I decided to take it further. And I want to show you guys the result because I'm pretty happy with it. I want to 3D print this out. There you go. So, yeah, Wolverine done by the original concept by Sean Galloway. He goes by Cheeks. super fun design. Had a lot of fun making it. So you can check it out. There you go. And let's see, I should show you his original art for it. So you can see. There you go. So that's the original art, and there's my final piece. How big do you think you'll print him? I don't know, like maybe six inches tall, something like that. Not as big as the guys behind me. Maybe as big as the mouse. Yeah, maybe something like 5-6 inches tall, something like that. I mean, I could print him infinity size, which is about 90 millimeters tall. So we'll see. But my printer kind of died on me a little bit. The tub, the tank leaked, so I had to clean it up. Any tips on how to do 3D printable foliage like grass or tree leaves and branches? Let's see, link to it and just go. That's a tricky question. It depends on the look that you're after, but usually you do it in texture rather than model out every single grass. And you could also just do hints that it's made of grass, so like it's really smooth, and you just pull out a few little tufts here and there just to signify that it's made of grass, and that way you don't have to do every single blade. Same with foliage, just do a couple leaves here and there rather than the entire tree. So anyway, that's how I typically do it. But all right, guys, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a lot of fun. And again, I'm going to be having a Black Friday sale. So if you're on my emailing list, watch out for that. If you are not a student yet, it's going to be a pretty awesome deal. So keep your eyes open for that. And if you're not on my emailing list, all you need to do is go to my webpage, 3D Character Workshop, download my brushes, and you'll get onto the emailing list. So you can check that out. So, all right, guys, thanks so much, and take care, everyone. We will see you all next Monday. All right, have a great week. Take care. We'll see you later.